Welcome to the Stop Down Photography Podcast, episode 105. I'm Scott Davenport. In this episode, a question. Do I really need another sunset photo? Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining me. I'm glad to be back with you for another chat about photography, this passion we share. And in today's episode, we'll take one more step on our never-ending journey of photography. I carve out at least one day a week to go out with my camera. And of late, as each week comes and goes, I have chosen to leave the camera in the bag. I haven't been stepping out into the landscape. 2 days ago, conditions were prime for a colorful sky, and nature delivered. A gorgeous sunset, except I wasn't outdoors making a photograph. I wasn't motivated. I remember asking myself, do I really need another sunset photo? And in this episode, I want to talk about that question and try to answer it. I hope you enjoy the show. And if you do, please share it with a friend, on social media, with your camera club. And if you can, please leave a rating and especially a review for the podcast. Current ratings and reviews help more than you can know. And it also lets other photographers know that the show is current, it's active, and new episodes are posting. Every photographer, every creative has ups and downs. There are times you're motivated, you're in that creative groove, you're in the zone. Making photos is fun, it's energizing. And there are times that it is, not that. You get in a creative rut. You can't find the photos. Or in extreme cases, the thought of reaching for the camera is just somehow daunting. And in recent time, I've been somewhere between those two, somewhere between that peak of productivity and that valley of a creative funk. I have worked with my camera for some family events, more than casual snapshots, less than professional work, certainly not landscapes. For my landscapes, I've actively chosen not to step out with the camera. Or, more accurately, I've chosen to make excuses. Stuff like, I have another project I should really be making progress on instead. Or, I did an exercise this morning, I'll do that in the afternoon and the evening and won't go out with the camera. Or the conditions aren't great, they're not perfect, so I won't get a photo. I'll skip this outing. Those are excuses. But the question I caught myself asking this past week, do I need another sunset photo? So that gave me some pause. There is some validity to that question. Do I need another sunset photo? I have a lot of sunset photos of my hometown of San Diego. And part of the game of landscape photography is capturing nature on its best day, when the conditions come together just so, sky, light, ocean, everything in harmony, you get that great photo. And I've photographed the San Diego area for the better part of a decade. The law of averages is on my side. You shoot often enough, you'll get those magical days, you'll get those 5-star images. So could I make another one of those, another great sunset photo? Sure, though I suppose the allure isn't there as much because I do have those types of photos in the locations that are nearby me. Almost all my regular haunts, I've got those wonderful sunset photos. And when I think about that, it kind of brings me to another factor. The location plays a role. I'm still excited about landscape photography, although I find I'm wanting to photograph places that are new to me. Different beaches or the mountains. Utah has been on my mind for quite a while, actually. But in my extended backyard, that's the local deserts, the mountains, maybe a little farther north on the California coast, getting into Laguna or LA County, places like that. And all of that is a little more traveling time, more planning. It's not that quick 20-minute drive that I'm used to. So getting myself to these new locations to chase those landscapes I am still passionate about capturing, there's more friction for me to overcome. And a third thought, if I'm honest with myself, there is the lingering effect of the pandemic. 2 years past lockdown, and these effects I'm still feeling them. I'm an introvert by nature. I don't like crowds. I think a lot of landscape photographers are like that. We like being alone in nature. San Diego has a lot of people. And it took me a bunch of years to get comfortable being that overpacked guy at the beach taking photos. I stand out from the typical beachgoer. 2 tripods, packed full of cameras. I'm talking to myself. I'm filming myself in some cases. It took me a while to get comfortable with that. And when the lockdowns in 2020 happened, it was all a hard stop. Cold turkey. No more outings. The habits I'd built up, being out every week, shrugging off the double takes and stares from other people out there, well, it's like a muscle that isn't exercised, and those habits atrophied. The thicker skin I'd built up has thinned some. So if I'm honest with myself, there may be a sliver of anxiety contributing to my reluctance to step out into the landscape. So I've just basically listed some additional excuses, right? I'm getting really good at this. Well, back to a couple of days ago. Conditions were looking really, really good for a wonderful sunset. And I knew it. I know the weather patterns in San Diego. And the sky did indeed put on a show. And I watched it from my studio window. I'd stayed in. I'd talked myself out of picking up the camera, grabbing the tripod, and making photos because I asked that question, do I really need another sunset photo? And a few hours later, I admitted to myself that too was an excuse because I knew the answer to that question. No, I don't need another sunset photo. But for me, that's not the point of photography. The photos are an outcome, and I don't mean to trivialize that. I love making photos. I love capturing them. I love producing them, and I will continue to do so. Yet, my camera is a way to have experiences, a way to explore the world. Photography has pulled me forward. It's made me visit places I wouldn't otherwise go, see things I wouldn't have seen, meet people I wouldn't have met, make friends I wouldn't otherwise have. And I think this episode is a little self-serving to remind me of this fact. Photography, for me, is about experience. And when I can capture a little slice of that in a photograph, that's awesome. Yet even without the photo, I still have the experience. Do I need another sunset photo? No. Should I have another experience? Absolutely. A bit of studio news for you, speaking of upcoming photo experiences that I am truly excited about. The Death Valley workshop I'm hosting coming in January of 2023. I've been doing some of the detailed planning for this workshop. It's running late January, 24th through the 27th. Been working with the park rangers, getting my permits in order, and keeping up to date on what areas of Death Valley are and are not accessible. If you missed the news back in August, Death Valley got record rainfall, and it caused a lot of road damage because of flooding. A bunch of the park was closed off for a good chunk of August. And overall, the park staff and Caltrans, the Transportation Department of California, they've done a great amount of work to get a lot of the park open again. And that's really cool. Most of the main attractions that visitors go there to see, they've been open for a while, and more is opening up each and every month. So January is looking darn good. And I'm headed out there in December to do some boots on the ground recon to finalize the itinerary, know what is truly accessible, what's looking good, what's not, so that the workshop will go smooth and everyone will have a great time. Now, this Death Valley workshop has been sold out for several months since last July. However, things do change. One space has opened up. Now, the workshop runs Tuesday, January 24th through Friday, January 27th, 2023. The cost is $1,795 US. That's 4 full days, sunrise to sunset, in Death Valley, photographing with a small group of photographers. In between shoots, we'll talk shop, work on our photos. And Death Valley is a place like no other on earth, and that's really not an exaggeration. So if you're interested in photographing Death Valley with me and a small group of photographers, head to the workshops page on my website. The link is in the show notes. There's one space open, and I hope to see you there. One other bit of studio news, an update for my next edition of the On One Photo Raw Essentials book. This has been kind of a staple in my products for many years, and I hadn't updated it since the 2021 release of Photo Raw. Well, 2023 blew the doors off the set of features that are coming, and so it's time for a book update. So I have been heavily embroiled in working on the book update. Many folks have asked me, is there a book coming? There certainly is. I did an Ask Me Anything kind of Q&A video on YouTube maybe 2-ish weeks ago. I'll leave a link in the show notes if you want to check it out. But one of the questions that comes up and again is, are you doing a book update? When are we going to have it? Well, I'm working hard on it. I'd say I probably have about 13-ish chapters to put into this book. Plus some things I always put in the appendix for like more reference material. I've got about 6 of those chapters, buttoned up. The only thing left is doing the graphics. Once the text is all written, you drop in the screenshots to match the text. So, a little less than halfway. Call it 45% done. So it's coming along well. I'm aiming to have the book released and published before the end of the calendar year. And if it goes correctly, that will be both the electronic copy, the ebook, and a print book that you can do a print on demand through Amazon, just like I've done with past editions. So for those that have been wondering about the On One book, that's the current state of it. Moving along well, still on track to release it and publish it by the end of 2022. I think that's going to bring it to an end for this episode. I am going to make every effort to get out with my camera in the next coming week. No more excuses. No more excuses. Just go out, have an experience with the camera. The photos will come eventually, Scott. Get out there with the camera. I hope you're not having the same level of roadblock that I've been having recently. And if you have, well, maybe my story resonates with you, and maybe together we can both get over that hurdle and get out there with our cameras. Thanks as always to everyone that supports the show through the comments, emails I get, ratings and reviews and shares. It's all so very much appreciated. And if you're interested in learning about other ways you can support the podcast, check the show notes. There's a link to the support page on my website, and many of those methods are zero cost to you. Could be you're interested in getting a new piece of gear, you could use one of my links, new software, a lot of new photo software coming out this time of year. Check the show notes, check my pages. Not only can you support the show, I might have an offer code that'll save you a little bit of money. So let's all get out there with our cameras. I'm gonna go on record here. When I come back again in the next episode, I will have captured new landscape photos. We'll see if I keep my promise, and you all can help keep me honest. Until next time, my name's Scott Davenport. Have fun.